Can I order a pizza?
Okay. Pizza, what you want on it?
Just like regular, like pepperoni, like mushrooms.
Like mushroom.
Yeah.
D, can you come deal with this man? Because I ain't got patience for this shit.
Not right now. I'm kind of busy.
How you gonna tell me you're busy when I'm looking right at you?
Bitch, I'm making a pizza right now, okay? Respect that.
You did not just call me a bitch. I'm the manager. I'm gonna fire your ass.
You ain't no fucking manager here.
Yes I am. And you're fired.
Hey guys, hey. How y'all doing? Can y'all shut the fuck up? I'm on the phone.
Nekros Pizza, a hilarious new take on the mockumentary sitcom that chronicles the story of Pavel, Dexter, and their co-workers on their day-to-day misadventures in a local pizza shop. Today, I sit down with Darren Lorenzi and Sean Manos, the minds behind this web series, who were kind enough to drop by and have a candid discussion about one of the dopest shows you may be missing out on. Stay tuned. This is On Screen. Hello everyone, welcome to On Screen with D. Harris. I'm here with Darren Lorenzi and Sean Manos. How you doing, fellas?
Good, man. How you doing?
Living the dream, my friend.
We actually go way back with these guys. We're talking class of 2005, Shaker Heights High School.
05.
But these guys are also the guys behind Nekros Pizza. So let's hop right into it. The show premise. Now, give us a little insight about the show premise and how you came up with the idea for Nekros.
Well, what it kind of turned out to be is basically think Friday meets Clerks set in a pizza shop and shot like The Office. That's kind of what we have here. The premise of it is that it is day-to-day operations of a pizza shop, pretty much. From the perspective of Dexter, who is making... yeah, right, Darren plays Dexter, who is making a documentary with his friend for school, and it turns into essentially what the day-to-day operations are of this really dysfunctional pizza shop.
Yeah, and like a lot of these just crazy things happen. I mean, it kind of really, its heart is in kind of just your typical pizza place, but then these like stories kind of unfold into almost this like ridiculous concepts. Like we have this episode where they're trying to put a guy in an oven for various reasons and stuff like that. One guy robs us for a job. So we play around with that concept and then even go a little crazier with it too.
Yeah.
By the way, the show is not safe for work. Like,
Yeah. Wanna wait till you get home or put on headphones, make sure your computer screen isn't at work because it gets a little raunchy, but it's authentic.
I always tell people it's more like The Office meets South Park, but then you turn it way up a little bit.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty accurate.
We're big influencers of or influences of South Park. Like Trey
South Park's
Parker,
my favorite show.
yeah, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I think is something that we like. We grew up obviously really loving, so that's cool to hear.
Well, how did the concept come about for this show?
We both have worked shitty pizza jobs, and so when we used to play in a band together, and when that broke up, I already had made a web series prior. We had talked about our crappy pizza jobs, and we thought this would be great to make a series out of. So so we kind of combined kind of horror stories and war stories and just any kind of stories we could think of, and it kind of came together pretty quickly over the span of a couple months, and then we really got to writing it only after a few meetings, and then we had the name very early and everything, and
we kind of I was in Chicago deciding to move back to Cleveland, and Sean and I had been exchanging these stories and whatnot, and then like he said, we had finished up with our music and stuff, and we're looking for something else to do, and then we were just like, why don't we do this? And we met up, and then I think it was like every week we just kind of meet up and chalk out these ideas, and they all just started like churning, and then before you know it, I mean, just let him go. He started writing a whole bunch of stuff, started emailing me, and we're like, this is awesome, and just every phase kind of led to the next phase, and then, once we really got the cast in there, I think the show really started to come alive.
And that happened quick too, because most of the characters were written for, especially Dan Flannery plays Lenny. A lot of the reason that we wrote the show was so we could have Lenny be a boss.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
yell at people and be
because the
angry.
dude, was one of the best comedians you'll ever see. The guy was 6'7", 400 plus pounds, and he had like the comedic agility of Chris Farley. Like he was that good, and he was just a naturally brilliant performer. And so putting him in that role just ate it up. So.
Yeah, and he's incredibly funny on the show.
Yeah.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
The boss, yeah.
So, especially when he raises his voice. He's yelling a lot in this show.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from him being funny, you guys have a ton of people who just multi-talented on that show. You two included. But it's hilarious. So please tell me, what is the writing process and creative process like?
Well, it was, we would, with the stories that we were swapping, we just kind of decided to put them together and try and get a script form out of them. And the first thing we wrote was a series of interviews with who would become the employees of this shop. And then from there it kind of grew. How the writing process happened was, I'm a writer, my father's a writer, so it made the most sense for me to actually do the screenplay. But I would write a piece of it, send it to him, we'd talk about it, do the whole thing over, write it, send it to him. So we co-wrote the show.
Yeah, we
very
essentially
much.
we developed a story together, kind of in a sense of bouncing ideas back and forth, generating them, and then Sean will kind of take that and puts it into the skeleton of a screenplay and stuff like that. So and that's a lot of how we do a lot of our things, in the sense of outside of me being involved in the editing and us both acting and stuff like that. We kind of both conceptualize the story, and Sean really kind of lays it out into this dialogue, into these different story arcs and stuff like that, and then we kind of go back and forth and critique it from there. It's similar to basketball. I mean, you pass the ball to him, I pass the ball to him.
Right.
It's just this system that just kind of works, and then before you know it, an episode's done.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys are, you edit the show, you guys both help each other write it.
He directs it.
You guys are actually both on the show.
Yeah.
So you guys have multiple responsibilities when it comes to, working on this project. What's a day on set like?
Tired.
Yeah. Well, see, the shop scenes in there, the scenes in the pizza shop are actually shot at a local pizza shop in North Royalton, and we're shooting in there when they're not open. Obviously, we can't shoot while they're open.
Right.
So all of those shots were between the hours of 6 a.m.
6
a.m. and 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So even when it looks like it's a nighttime scene or whatever, it's literally like the butt crack of dawn.
Yeah.
So everybody's it's a little bit of slap happy kind of tiredness, but you get into this mode, especially once the first laugh happens and everybody kind of is like, we're doing it and running it. The energy picks up and you don't even realize it's 9 a.m.
And we a lot of the show's improvised. A lot of and that's by design. It turned out to be even more like that than we thought it would, and part of that is because of the conditions that we were filming in, because it's early in the morning, people aren't remembering their lines as well. It's like, well, just get from point A to point B, and it turned out most of the time the scenes turned out better than how they were
Way more
scripted.
natural.
Because it turned out that you got more natural performances from actors, most of which had never acted on screen before, and that's really all you can really ask for when you're asking people to be realistic-looking characters in a pizza shop. have them act like essentially exaggerated versions of themselves. Get from point A to point B in the script. I mean, there were some certain bullet points to hit as well, but a lot of it was improvised, and some of it was because of the way it was shot.
It creates this kind of a little bit of tension, but in a good way, and I feel because obviously, like, you end up having a lot of fun shooting these things, but we're also on a time limit. So Sean, as a director, has to keep that balance between letting us explore and also like making sure we get these shots done. And I think that also kind of enhances it and stuff like that. And Scene, our cinematographer, Scene, we call him Scene, goes by Cinematics Motion Pictures. He's done a lot of music videos here in Cleveland. He's a awesome guy to work with. I mean, he kind of fit well into it. He fits well into the kind of circle that we are as people, but also he just like instinctively knows when to go to which character, and he really kind of took the realms in the whole cinematography, and that And yeah.
The tone, he really made it his own. You know, like just the way it was shot. It's almost shot like a music video in a way, with kind of the way the camera moves, because he is like he's done videos for Doughboy, from MGK, for all these local artists that are very well known. And he just got back from Tampa doing a video. He's
he did a
videos
car
on
video, and
YouTube.
I think he's going to LA soon.
Yeah,
too.
like the guy is an absolute monster as a music video maker, and it really showed in this as well, and yeah, it helped set the tone along with the music and everything
There's
else.
some really great music in that show.
Thank you.
That's him.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
He-
Produced the soundtrack for it. It was mostly just beats that I had made. I had done a beat tape for school when I was in grad school, and I tried to like get them out to different like rappers and stuff like that. No one was really liking it. I even remember kind of having this mixer where I played it, and everybody there was like, "This is nice, but it's different." And then we started using these tracks just to see how they would sound as background music in Nekros, and we're both like, "This actually fits well." So they actually like found a home. So that was always good to hear, and hopefully the next season music will be just as good.
Yeah, all the music's in house. The theme we wanted to try and reach out to Bizarre from D12 to do, just for no other reason other than we have
Why not?
Bizarre doing the track from Nekros.
That was a big idea.
Which would have
for a
been
while.
funny, but then we just discovered it. I don't even think the theme was on your tape, was it? The theme that
that we
the
did for him?
Nekros, yeah.
No, I don't even think we
was.
finished.
It was just a deep cut. It was just sitting in your just digital garage. We just dug it up. It's like, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
And we threw it in the first teaser for it, and then it just became the theme because it made sense.
Yeah, that was when we put the first trailer out. We had put that music in just because we were playing around with it, and we were like, "This is awesome." And then a bunch of people kind of got back to us, not even being like, "This show looks funny," but being like, "This music is tight," and we were like, "I guess this is our theme now."
Yeah.
So it kind of decided itself.
And because of the whole Greek aspect of, like, Nekros is Greek for dead. So the backstory, the backstory of the show, which is kind of only just touched upon because it's really more about the present as opposed to the past, is that there's this Greek guy who comes over to America and opens up a fictitious chain of crematories called Nekros Crematories. Once he retires, his sons take it over and just make it a pizza shop. And so because of that, it's called Nekros Pizza for that reason. We also were able to find a lot of humor in that with, like, the Slim character saying this isn't Nekros Pizza, this is Negro's Pizza, because it's a
He brings that up. He says that if you pay attention, he says that a lot.
He
too.
says it almost
Negro's
the entire
Pizza.
time. Yeah, so we're able to find some humor in that as well. But so the Greek connection kind of is heard in the theme accidentally. So
Through
as
these, like, Mediterranean
yeah,
sounds
right,
and
with
stuff.
the sounds that you got in the theme. So all the family characters like Lenny and Louie and Anastasi, they're all Greeks, even though they're big Irish dudes, which is part of the hilarity of it. But yeah, so that blend also kind of helps a little bit, especially with the diversity of the show. It makes it a lot of different. So a lot of people have different favorite characters on them. Some like Away's character the most, many like Lenny's. So it's really a show for everybody. A lot of shows say that, but we really are a show for
Well,
everybody.
it's funny you say that because we're on the topic of characters. I can't lie, mine happens to be the Oleg character.
Everybody, everybody, and that's awesome,
Right.
and that's freaking awesome.
Oh man!
I mean, just because of the way everybody interacts with him differently, and it's always a WTF moment every time he's around.
It's good. Yeah. T-Bone, we call him T-Bone. His name's Tyler. He was in the second season of Manflan, which was Sean's web series before Nekros.
Yeah.
And we kind of just wanted to accentuate this idea of just him randomly being there.
Yeah, Tyler is Oleg. He's not acting at all. That's who he is. he is the most quiet guy you'll ever meet. He is just he just sits by himself, just kind of just does nothing. So we decided in that series, in the first series, Manplan, which is my character and Dan Flannery's character, what if he just showed up? This dude is just here, and how he looks, the beater and the basketball shorts, that's his wardrobe. That's how he looks. And so
They just brought him home. They put him in the car.
Right,
It was like, stand
and
here.
it was just like, because we were wondering, what were we going to put him in a hoodie? Or were we going to put him in a do-rag? What are we going to dress? And he was in a white beater, a basketball shirt. Like, this is perfect. Wear exactly that every single time. So we took that, and implemented it into Nekros for the except we instead of him just randomly show up, we kind of
put a story behind
we
him.
put a story behind him as he's actually his cousin. DeMarcus.
Yeah,
who
he
just-
actually finally said it.
Yeah,
Right.
My name
He said,
is
"Excuse
DeMarcus.
me." Yeah.
Right. It's like, my name is and Slim's just. Wait, did nobody hear this dude just say his name was DeMarcus? It's like, Oleg is a family name. You know, so.
Which is completely representative of Slim as a character in the
Right.
show, as the one in all the craziness who's like, do y'all not see what really is happening?
He
You
really
know?
had it's really like the nuts and the nut, but like he's the one with the most common sense out of every character in the show. In which, you know, it's like, why are you not getting raised? Why am I not getting a raise when I'm a manager and none of you?
Right.
You know, and I actually do more work than anyone else here, which is funny because you never see them do any work on the show, but
Yeah,
it's implied.
they're never
anyway.
doing anything.
I've never seen a pizza made
Nope.
yet.
You probably won't.
That's because half of the scenes were shot. Well, maybe not half, but some of the scenes were shot before the pizza shop opened, and so he didn't have product there. So the idea was going to be we would have some pizzas there, you know, like the oven would be functional and everything. But it kind of became a running joke. We just never have pizzas, so we just made it so that there's never pizzas shown, except for just kind of the transitions he put together. Much of that from stock footage. But yeah, so it's just these guys work at a pizza shop and never make pizza.
Now, which one of these characters is your favorite character on the show that you've written for?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably. Well, we're writing season 2 now, so now I'm seeing what the arc is going to be for a couple of these characters. Away comes to mind.
Random Worker's my favorite
Random
character.
Worker.
100%.
I would say for me it's either Lenny or Sydney/Away. is probably the
I can see that
yeah.
too. They're all just such big personalities in their own kind of way. I just like Random Worker because he's just always pissed. And it's played by my younger brother, and again, like he was saying with a lot of these, that's him. Like that's him, just angry. Like,
Yeah.
He's angry all
all the time for no reason.
All the time.
I'll call him and he'll be like, "What the f you want?" Like
Gang
like,
banging on breakfast.
right. That's that
Right.
dude. That is 100% that dude.
Exactly. And yeah, and Away that just we originally had a character
That's a good story.
who was going to be an African. You know, you ever see Next Friday?
Yeah.
Basically the same type of character, the try again, motherfucker. You know, but we were going to have one of those types of characters in the shop. His name was going to be Chibu or Chedachuku Chuku, but he was going to go by the name George Bush. And so
That was his American
and
name.
then Ray's like, I am named George Bush, you know, and it was going to be a whole thing. We had 2 different actors set up, and both of them quit for various reasons. So it's like, all right, well, let's go in a different direction here. What if we have a Buddhist? More directly, a hood Buddhist, somebody who, like used to be a gangbanger or something, and then just becomes like enlightened in like New Age religion
In
or
literally
something
a
like
day.
that. In no time flat. And so we had this bit character, Simi, who was not named after our schoolmate. It just
happened to be a catchy name.
It just was what came to mind. But we just had this bit character of a guy who was a gangbanger, and he worked there, and he got found out about by an opposition gang and quit. That was going to be it. And then we decided, well, what if he just kind of sees the light and becomes this Buddhist or whatever he is. We didn't even really write it with a certain thing
we
in
took
mind.
This,
We just
this take on like the typical like a guy go to prison and then just gets converted to Islam or becomes like a super Christian. We're like, what if no one ever becomes a Buddhist? No one ever goes to jail and it's like, you know what? Buddhism's my shit.
Right.
What if we made a dude like that?
Right.
Like,
and that's kind of how it came about. And then Devin, your other brother, he made it his own, and it turned out great.
and we actually had some sound issues going on in the shop with the refrigerator, which a lot of people don't notice, but us being creators, it bugs the crap out of us. I hate the refrigerator in that place.
Especially when you're filming something.
Oh man, and it clicks in right away. Oh my god. So we were trying to figure out a way to fill in, especially because Devin's character talks really soft in here. How to like enunciate that, and we had tried a bunch of different ways and they weren't working. And then we kind of just settled on, let's just put captions in there. Like, let's just put captions in there and make it his thing.
He's the only character with yellow captions every time he speaks.
Even when you fully hear what he's saying, he just has captions behind it. And that became this whole other part of his personality that really came at the post-production phase. And now every time he speaks, we're gonna have to have captions.
Like it really is like he's the only like real surreal character on the show.
Mhm.
You know, it's like everyone else is a little bit believable, but this guy is just a surreal type. I mean, I guess Pavel is too in a way, but especially since he's a rapper too. But well, they're both rappers.
Yeah, everybody in there's a rapper except Dex.
Right, and that comes into play.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the overall just weirdness and surrealism, and you know, because I'm a big Coen Brothers fan, so they do stuff like that all the time. So that was kind of my way of being able to write in a Coen Brothers-y type thing, naming him away, and just kind of, you know, just going weird with stuff I didn't quite understand while I was writing. I just kind of used Awaken One and Chi and. You know,
It fits perfect too because of the aloofness of his character in the sense of where he's saying these big words, but his mannerisms are like, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that worked out really well.
So you guys have already been talking about season 2 throughout the interview.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next step for the growth of Nekros Pizza?
Well,
There's a few different kind of answers to that.
Yeah.
One is for season 1, we are just trying to get it out there. We've got it submitted in varying stages to different film festivals. One in South Korea, one here, Cleveland International Film Festival. You said one in Miami too, right?
one in Miami. We sent it out to Miami. We should be getting
So
something.
that's
back
the
soon.
future of season 1. Is we're trying to get it pretty much everywhere. It's also ready to binge on YouTube. And it's
We got
free.
it on
Go on out
playlist.
there, check it out. For season 2, we've essentially started the writing process over, but a lot more professionally since we know what we're doing a little bit more. And the idea is going to be with that is it's going to be a lot more of an expanded cast. It's going to be shot even better.
I think we're bringing in, 7 new people?
At least, yeah.
7 new
And
people will be in.
we're expanding the amount of episodes. We're going to probably release them in bulk as opposed to just one by one, because that is kind of an old school way of thinking.
We've been getting a lot of feedback that people like the idea of binging their stuff.
Because
and
of Netflix and stuff. People like their content in bulk. So we gonna give them their content in bulk. We'll either do all 12 of them. We're looking at 12 right now, episodes at once, or 6 and 6. We haven't decided yet, but we're in the process of writing that now. That should be done by the end of the year. We're looking at getting into production on that January, February, if all goes well, with a summer release, if not fall. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just I guess another way that we're expanding and growing it is just like I said, we're looking to roll out a website. We're gonna have merchandise. Really just listening to the feedback that we've been getting from the viewers so far, and just putting ourselves in the position to where now that these characters have a life of their own and they've developed, especially with their actors, taking that and developing the story along the lines of even where the actors had them going. You know what I mean? And in the sense of how they react in themselves and the characters and tailoring it more towards them.
We also have a mixtape.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I need that.
We put a mixtape out for that.
So if that's not enough, this whole series, we also have a mixtape, which is kind of half soundtrack and half just expanded songs from characters in the show, including my own. I rap on the show in Russian, and and so does Away. So Pavel and Away both have rap songs on there, and then he does, as Petrenzo Kennedy, local artist Vino, has a track on there, and then Slim also kind of has about like a 20 bar kind of thing he does. So
Yeah, just creating all of this stuff around Nekros in the universe,
Yeah.
I think is one of the biggest things that is, first of all, like most enjoyable to create, but also I think that just brings more life to a show. You know, anything that I love always has an expanded universe, even if we're just talking sci-fi, Star Wars or whatever. I like the stuff around it just as much as I like the stuff in it, and we're trying to create quality stuff around it. So there is your mixtape, there are going to be your music videos, there is going to be a way you can get your merchandise and stuff like that. And I think that's really how we're going to set season 2 a level above what season 1 is just all the stuff. We're going to create more stuff around it.
I mean, season 1 we were really flying by the seat of our pants. It's essentially throughout the whole process. Now we kind of know what we're doing more. We have actual kind of written out goals now. As to, we're actually kind of really approaching it from a business end of things more, as opposed to before we were approaching it from we just want to put a show out. So now it's like we put the show out and people like the show, which is awesome. Thank you so much. It's like, okay, so now we got to step it up.
Yeah.
Let's step it up and let's make this thing even more professional. I think they deserve it. Cleveland deserves it.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna do the absolute best we can to give them that.
So it's not enough web series in Cleveland. You know what I mean? It's not enough people doing this kind of media, and even like the stuff you're doing with your podcast. I think that this is something that really is the wave of the future of creating and also, you know, distributing your product and stuff like that. Like nowadays, you don't have to go to the movies to see something good or wait for it to come on a certain channel. Right now, like there's awesome content being like plugged in everywhere, and just trying to catch that wave and get Cleveland into that, because I feel like a lot of other cities are already in, and it'd be awesome. I think Cleveland has the know-how and the talent around here for us to be a city
There's
like
money
that.
to
You
be
know?
made here. Absolutely.
Yes.
A show like
Yes.
this hasn't been done, let alone in Cleveland. So let's
Yeah.
make it a Cleveland show.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
let's make it Cleveland. You know, so and yeah, there is money to be made.
Yeah, so as we come to a close, you got to let everyone know how they can find you. First of all, let them know how they can find Nekros and how they can find you guys on social media.
Well, check us out if you search on YouTube. You search Nekros Pizza, Nekros Pizza. Will be the first thing that pops up. There's 8 episodes. Sorry,
8 episodes.
it's been a long day. There's 8 episodes out right now. They're already ready in the playlist. You can even search KOI Entertainment, which is the production company behind it. And yeah, my name's Darren Lorenzi. You can follow me on Instagram as Scruffy Jackson. That's my Instagram name, or search me on Facebook. We also have a Facebook page for Nekros Pizza. You can go and like that if you want to see any updates that are going on. That'll be on there.
Yeah, follow him. He's way more interesting on social media than I am.
I'm the social media guy.
I'm not very savvy. I just kind of put Snapchat videos like, "Hey, we're on set now. This is what we're." You know, he actually puts filters and things. Follow him. But I am on Instagram as Sean.
He's on there too. If everybody
I'm
want to lurk on him.
If anybody wants
He
to
out
lurk
there.
up, I'm Sean the Suspect, which goes back to my drum playing days, and I just never changed it.
I just did Scruffy Jackson because it sounds cool.
Right, Sean the Suspect. So it's
It does
got
sound
the
cool.
alliteration
Yeah.
in there, and it's just like, yeah, it's.
No, that's
in
the
a way,
name.
yeah.
That's when you become a rapper. You're gonna be Sean the Suspect.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you again, man. Appreciate
Looking
that.
forward to season 2, man.
Oh, we'll
Make
be in
sure I
talks,
get
man.
that mixtape.
Oh, definitely will.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely will.
SoundCloud. It's out on SoundCloud for
Yeah,
free.
it's on SoundCloud. If
So-
you guys want the mixtape, it's out there as well. Check it out. And
Yes, sir.
again, thank you, man. Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Shaker 05, we here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we here on 5.
Shout out to Hutch.
Right.
Be the best. We're fucking trying.
We're trying.
We're fucking trying.